Book 12.10, The Raft. This is the cliff top. Can you see the van? It is next to some rocks. Can you see across? Can you see some more distant things? Everything is still. Where are Egan, the Slinks, and the Fuzzbuzzes? This is where they are. It is the band's very first visit to the sands. Everyone just left the van and went dashing down the cliff. Now they are having smashing fun. Can you see what they are doing? Because this is the first visit, everything is puzzling. What are things called? One of the Fuzzbuzzes goes across to Egan and asks,
"What is this big blue pond called?"
Egan asks the Slinks for the map, so he can read the words on it. Some of them are big words, and Egan has to do his best. At last he does it.
"It's called the Atlantic Pond,"
he tells the little one. And from then on, that is what everyone called it. In the end, Egan tells everyone that they still have a lot to do.
"Yes,
Nods the Slinks.
the sun is setting. We must not get stuck down at the bottom of this cliff in pitch blackness. There is a mass of things to do. If we are going to get rich, we must get cracking."
Egan tells them. They are all a bit sad, but they have to admit that Egan is correct. They set off back up the steps that are cut into the cliff. Egan switches on the lamps from the van. Now they can see what they are doing. Everyone has a job to do. Egan puts the tent up. The Fuzzbuzzes unpack the van and stack everything next to the tent. The Slinks gets dinner ready. They have all had second helpings of dinner from the big black pot. They cannot eat one more thing. They are happy and content.
What a splendid dinner. What did you put into it?
Egan asks.
"A bit of everything,"
Admits the Slinks. The Fuzzbuzzes ask him if he will do all the dinners. The Slinks promises that he will, if they eat everything up. Egan pulls a clock out of his bag. He sets it for 10 to 6.
"We must all go to bed now,"
he tells them.
"We must get up with the sun. Then we can test the raft."
Ding-a-ling-ling! What a shock! The bells on the clock have everyone jumping out of bed. But now they have had a good sleep, and they are ready to get on with the job. The Slinks goes across to the top of the cliff. He is thinking of a method for getting the raft to the bottom of the cliff. It is very difficult. The raft is so big. One slip and it will go tumbling down and smash to bits. It is a baffling problem. Just then Egan comes across. The Slinks asks him what he thinks. Egan thinks for a bit, but he cannot help. They sit down on the cliff top. They are in a fix. If they cannot get the raft down, they will have to give up.
Now the Fuzzbuzzes come across.
"What's the problem?"
They ask. Egan tells them. They all sit down on the cliff top. They are in a fix. But Egan will not give up. He tells them that they must sit there until someone comes up with a practical plan for getting the raft down to the sands. They sit and sit and sit. The Fuzzbuzzes are not very good at thinking. Some of them nod off.
The band are still sitting there. Everyone is glum. Not one of them can think of a plan. Then Egan jumps up. He does a little jig. He stretches out his hand. He yells out,
"Can you see that?" So what?
grunts the Slinx.
How does that help us?
Egan jumps up and down.
You are a nitwit.
He yells. The Atlantic pond has come in. It's come across the sand and up to the cliff. All we have to do is push the raft off the cliff top. It will have a soft landing. Now the Slinx jumps up.
Brilliant!
He yells.
Let's get on with it.
They all rush off to get the raft. The raft is a big solid lump. It is a difficult job to get it across to the cliff top. The band have to push and pull, drag and yank, tug and lug, press and thrust to get it there. But in the end they do it. Now they can push it off the top.
1, 2, 3.
Yells the Slinx.
Push!
At first the raft just tilts a bit.
More!
Yells the Slinx. Everyone gives one last big push. That does it. The raft goes tumbling down. Splash!
Everyone dashes to the cliff top to see what is happening. They cannot see the raft. The Atlantic is flat and level. There is nothing there. 10 seconds pass. Then 10 more. Still nothing happens. The Slinx is very upset. His raft has sunk. Now they have had it. Then, splash!
Glug! Slosh! The raft pops up. It bobs up and down on the blue Atlantic. They all clap and yell. Then they hug the Slinx and pat him on the back.
Come on then,
They yell.
let's go on a trip.
Just a sec.
Begs the Slinx.
There's something to get first.
And he dashes back to the van.
The rest of the band goes down the rock steps to the bottom of the cliff. Egan goes paddling out to fetch the raft. The raft has drifted out of his depth, so he has to swim the last bit. He pulls the raft back, and the fuzzbuzzers jump on.
Then there is a yell.
Do not set off yet!
The Slinx comes dashing down the steps. Can you see him? The Slinx jumps on the raft. Everyone is giggling. They think that the Slinx's outfit is brilliant.
Come on, men!
The Slinx yells.
We will go off on a test trip.
Paddling a raft is very difficult, and the band get into a big mess. First, the raft goes into a spin. Next, it hits a rock. Then the Slinx goes in. Everyone gets dripping wet. But in the end, they do it. Now the raft goes well.
Good. Now we are ready for the big...
Question 1. Write down 3 things the band do on the sand. Question 2. Why does Egan think the band must go back up the cliff? Question 3. How can they see to do all the jobs? Question 4. What does the Slinx put into the dinner? Question 5. What is a problem? Question 6. What happens next so that they can get the raft down without smashing it? Question 7. At first, what happens to the raft? Question 8. This lynx dresses up. What colour are his patch, his boots, and his hat?